first person that's going to join me today, she is a friend that I know from my time in the Boston area. She's a Chamber of Commerce president and CEO. I'll bring her on for a proper introduction. Joining us right now is Danielle McFadden. Hi, Danielle.
Hey, Al. How are you?
I am well, thank you. How are things in Massachusetts?
Things are good. We also got some snow, but it was when I woke up this morning, it had stopped, but we got about 20 inches here in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Man, do I miss those days, right? Tomorrow it'll be a beautiful blue sky kind of a day, usually when the storm clears. So yeah, good stuff. Well, Danielle, you have always been someone that has been kind of on top of their game when it comes to all kinds of things, but certainly usually using digital, social media, video, and all that. So I saw something that you put on LinkedIn, and I thought I would talk to you about this. And it was pretty cool. But why don't you tell folks a bit about the background first, then I'll put the graphic up there on the screen.
Well, I came into January. I always love the beginning of the year. I feel like it's a new opportunity to set goals, be excited, implement some new things. And I was just feeling very optimistic that day. So I put a survey on LinkedIn to ask people how they were feeling professionally. And then you reached out to me about that. And I think you're going to show that graphic so we can talk a little bit more about it.
I am going to show that graphic. Yeah. And I commend you for doing that. You use a feature on LinkedIn that people don't know about necessarily. You use polling. And here's the results of your poll. You asked, as we start to wrap up the first month in 2021, how are you feeling? And here is Danielle's optimistic poll here. And I got to tell you, when I read it, I went, well, I'm pretty optimistic. And so I clicked the button, and I was kind of happy to find out that people were generally optimistic, and then too pessimistic, 2%. But then folks were saying the jury was still out. And of course, that makes some sense. So how do you read that when it comes to optimism versus jury is still out?
Well, as you're talking about that too, I'm wondering if I had put it on a different social media platform, how the results would have been if I put it on something like Facebook. But in terms of the optimism, I was feeling optimistic because of things like the new rounds of PPP and EIDL. Massachusetts put out a growth capital grant program for small businesses. So all those things are helping businesses right now. Also with the vaccine that just came out, we're hoping that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We're thinking spring. So I think that's where the optimism piece is coming from. In terms of the jury still out, I think people just don't know, are these sources of funding going to help put my business over the hump? When am I going to get vaccinated? What's that going to look like? So I think that's kind of where the jury still out lays, but I'm going with the optimism.
Yeah. And I have to agree with you. I mean, I think that, the new president certainly has big plans as far as, the vaccination goes, right? That's the thing that opens it up. I just saw this morning, Senator Dianne DeZiglio was kind of taking the governor on to task on the plan there in Massachusetts. And I get it. Every state, except seemingly for West Virginia, is still kind of rolling around in there for West Virginia. We got to talk to those guys. They've got it set. Like they're already kind of moving along with their vaccinations. So that's pretty cool. But, here in Vermont, I'm actually a first responder in EMT, and I've just been qualified to give the vaccines. I haven't done it yet, but we are literally just ramping up. So I think that there's lots of reasons for people to be optimistic. So I appreciate you doing that survey. Really quickly, tell me what's going on with the Chamber of Commerce, what's coming up as folks see you here on LinkedIn Live.
We are keeping busy for sure. Everything right now is digital, but we are, like you said, utilizing the power of social media, our website. We're doing a ton of stuff with Zoom. So we're trying to make things accessible for everybody. And I love the fact that when we go back to normal, we'll be able to kind of do a hybrid model, offering stuff virtual, but also in person. So I'm excited about the future because I feel like the COVID-19 pandemic has really forced us to move onto the organization we would have been 5 years from now. And it just escalated it, which I'm seeing as a positive.
Danielle, I couldn't agree with you more. Everything you just said. And I've watched you for years bring that chamber along with the latest in social media technology, video. I know you said you're bringing back the YouTube Awards, which was always one of my favorites. So I commend you for that. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate it. I appreciate the survey. I'm going to keep an eye on you on LinkedIn because I know you always have some great stuff going on. And we'll talk again real soon.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks for being here. Well, I got to tell you, if every Chamber of Commerce had a vibrant director like Danielle, I think business would be in a pretty good place. I always enjoyed working with her when I lived down in the area. So it's great to keep in touch. And that's the power of social media, right? I get to keep an eye on what Danielle's got going on. So